Hello and welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. My name is Gabe. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and I know your English will improve. Do you believe it? Good. Well then, why do you have that stressed look on your face? Hey, speaking of stressed, what makes you feel stressed? How do you deal with stress? You know, there are some simple ways. The title of our lesson today is How to Cut the Stress. Yes, how to cut the stress. We're going to learn about some coping mechanisms for dealing with pressure. Two in particular, breathing and moving. Ah, yeah. And we'll also discuss what a coping mechanism is. Don't worry about that. Now, there's no need to stress right now. It's just an English lesson. Let's begin.
How to cut the stress. Ways to relax when the pressure becomes too great. Work, school, family, money. Life is filled with stress, and everyone needs to find ways to reduce it. Many people have observed that the word stressed, spelled backward, is desserts. But while eating sweet treats may help people feel better in the short term, it's not the healthiest way of dealing with stress. Here are a few better ways of coping with the pressure. Breathe. When you feel anxious, your breathing becomes quicker and shallower.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 cope 这个动词。Cope 是指成功的应付、对付或者是处理某个问题或状况。例如 Norm just got promoted and his wife just had a baby. How is he coping? Norm 刚升官，太太又刚生宝宝，他应付的如何？如果要说明应付或者是处理什么的话，是用 with 这个介系词。例如 ER doctors must be trained to cope with all kinds of urgent situations. 急诊室的医生一定要被训练成能应付各种紧急状况。接下来我们看 anxious 这个形容词 anxious 是指焦虑不安的或者是担心的。例如 Ruby is a calm person. I've never seen her anxious or nervous. Ruby 是一个非常冷静的人，我从来没有看过她焦虑或紧张。如果要说明对什么事感到焦虑的话，是用 about 这个介系词。例如 The patient is anxious about her blood test results. 这位病人对于他自己验血的报告结果感到非常担心。Anxious 也指渴望的或者是等不及的。例如 Melissa's sister is anxious to know how Melissa's date went. Melissa 的妹妹等不及想知道 Melissa 的约会进行得如何。
Thank you so much, Michelle. Well, I am very happy because I guess you could say I'm stress-free. I don't experience a lot of stress in my life these days. What about you, Rebecca?
Really?
Yeah.
You don't experience any stress in your life these days?
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of pressure from church to do some different responsibilities. We have our rallies here with Studio Classroom. There's a lot of teaching to prepare here in the studio. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. Now that I think about it.
You're actually feeling stress-free. Well, you know something, Gabe, I guess you can teach this entire lesson
because you're busy?
Well, because, I experience stress at times. And so I'm really interested in learning how to cut the stress. Cut the stress.
All right. I guess we should take a look at our lesson today. Sometimes we might have a lot going on, but somehow we just don't feel that stress until we think about it, right? So how to cut the stress? I love this picture. Is this how you feel sometimes, friends? Maybe you don't actually look like this, but you feel like that on the inside because you're so stressed out.
Yes, sometimes I do feel that way too because there are so many things that I want to do or need to do, and I just don't feel like I have enough time to get them all done. Well, our lesson says ways to relax when the pressure becomes too great. Work, school, family, money, life is filled with stress and everyone needs to find ways to reduce it.
That's right, to make the stress less. So we read on, many people have observed that the word stressed, spelled backwards, is desserts. Now you just saw a picture of someone who is very stressed. What would this person look like if she were having a dessert or something sweet and nice? Ah, look at that expression on her face, Rebecca. It's totally different.
Oh, she looks so happy now. Now that she's eating some desserts, and she probably has a cup of something sweet, maybe hot chocolate.
I know, and I don't know what she's eating. It looks like tiramisu in that bowl right there. Now, this is a different person from that picture before, but you get the idea, friends. Sometimes we just are so stressed, and if we could just have something sweet and nice, it would make our lives so much better.
However, our lesson does bring up a good point. But while eating sweets may help people feel better in the short term, it's not the healthiest way of dealing with stress. So every time you feel stressed, it's not best to go eat something sweet.
Yeah, but a lot of people do this. It could be something sweet or just something that you really love. And we call that comfort food, right? You see this phrase here, people feel better in the short term. In the short term means in the near future.
That's right. So you could say, for example, this apartment is good for the short term, but we might need something different later on.
You know what? There's a related phrase, and it's the opposite meaning, and that is in the long run. You could say in the long term, but more often I hear people say in the long run. This is the opposite of in the short term. So the definition is that means finally or over a long period of time.
So I think that you could say that eating sweets may help people feel better in the short term, but you know, in the long run, it's really not the healthiest way of dealing with stress.
Exactly. They could have added that phrase to our lesson. In the long run, it's not the healthiest way. Here are a few better ways of coping with the pressure. Now, when I think of coping, that is dealing with something. And there's a phrase that we sometimes use. We talk about people's coping mechanisms. That is what you use or what kind of things that you do to deal with stress. And sometimes it's an unconscious kind of mental or emotional pattern that shapes your behavior in certain situations.
I mean, sometimes people bite their fingernails, sometimes people eat, sometimes people exercise, and these are all different coping mechanisms. I guess different ways of dealing with stress. But our lesson talks about something that could be very helpful, and this next section is called breathe.
Breathe, yes. When you feel anxious, your breathing becomes quicker and shallower. Before we continue learning about breathing, you know that word anxious is an adjective, but the noun is anxiety. Do you ever have anxiety?
Well, of course, I feel anxiety sometimes, but we're going to talk more about this later. But right now, let's discuss stressed out, unwind, wind down. What is this all about?
What's that all about? Let's go find out in the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud. Carolyn, do you ever feel stressed out?
Yes, I do. I think most people have been stressed out at one time or another. So let's look at that phrase, stressed out, and some phrases that go with it.
Great idea. If you are stressed out, that simply means you feel stressed or are under a lot of pressure. For example, studying for the test is making me really stressed out.
Driving in this traffic makes me feel stressed out. If you're feeling stressed out, you might want to do something to unwind. Unwind means to do something relaxing. I like to read novels to help me unwind after a long day.
Exercising can also help you unwind when you're feeling stressed out.
That's right. Now, there's another phrase similar to unwind. Wind down. If something winds down, it decreases in energy or intensity.
So, if you're feeling a lot of stress, it's helpful to do something to help you wind down and relax. Wind down can also be used to describe an event, such as a celebration. The anniversary party started to wind down around 9 o'clock.
Wind down and unwind are both used to describe a gradual process, so they take time. Some relaxation techniques work quicker than others. For ones that take effect quickly, like Deep breathing. We would say that deep breathing helps people to calm down, not wind down.
我们先来看 stress 就是 pressure 压力，但 pressure 意思很广，水的压力、空气的压力都是 pressure， 而 stress 一定是指心理上的压力。在 stress 后面加 ed， 再接一个 out，stressed out 这个片语表示紧张的、感到焦虑的。当你觉得压力大的时候，你可以说 I am stressed out。看到别人很紧张，你可以问 What's wrong? You look pretty stressed out. 你看起来压力很大的样子。当你感到压力大的时候，可以试图 unwind。W-I-N-D wind 是上紧发条的意思，相反的 unwind 就是解开、松开的意思。下班后回到家可以打开音响，喝个饮料 unwind 放松一下心情。另外 wind down 是减缓的意思，除了可以使自己 wind down， 一件事也可以 wind down。周年庆的晚会到9点钟就逐渐 wind down 进入尾声。
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Hey, are you feeling stressed in life? How do you cut that stress out of your life? Well, different people have different coping mechanisms. Some people like to eat a lot of sweets when they feel stressed because, after all, stressed spelt backwards is desserts. However, is this the best idea? I don't think so. Our lesson does provide some tips. The first tip is to that's right, to breathe. Breathe when you feel anxious about something. And what should you do while you are breathing? That's what we're going to find out right away.
How to cut the stress. But if you close your eyes and take a deep breath, your body will feel like you're calm. Deep breathing can also lower your blood pressure, reversing some of the damage that stress causes. Move. Any kind of exercise can relieve stress because it causes your brain to release chemicals that make you feel good. Stretching can help relax your muscles, and even something as simple as going for a 10-minute walk can help. Personally, I find walking in a park or other places with plants especially relaxing. Being outside and around growing things makes me cheer up.
Alright， 继续我们看 reverse 这个动词 ，re 这个字首在这里是指回来的意思 ，vers 这个字根是指转动，所以 reverse 是指使恢复或复原。例如 damage caused by global warming is not easy to reverse， 温室效应造成的伤害是不容易复原的。reverse 也指逆转或彻底改变。例如 the CEO is determined to reverse the company's declining sales figures。执行长下定决心要扭转公司不断下滑的销售量。最后我们看的是 cheer up 这个成语 cheer up 是指振作起来，会高兴起来，当片语动词使用。例如 cheer up, stop complaining about everything， 振作一点，不要在每件事情都抱怨了。或者是 the boy cheered up at the prospect of going out to eat ice cream， 这个男孩因为要出去吃冰淇淋就开心起来。如果是 cheer someone up 是指使某人振作或开心，例如 Elaine's friends took her out to cheer her up， Elaine 的朋友们带她出去让她开心一下。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Just practicing my breathing a little bit because it's important to breathe. If you are feeling stressed, often we forget to breathe. Rebecca, have you ever heard that phrase? You forget to breathe.
Actually, I don't really use that phrase too much. What I hear more often is take a deep breath. If you're feeling anxiousness or anxiety, take a deep breath.
That's because sometimes people forget to actually take a deep breath and breathe properly. So friends, you see this phrase, to take a deep breath. That means it's not a quick, shallow breath. No, you're actually taking a deep, significant breath, and that will help.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, actually even sometimes now, and I play piano, sometimes I get really nervous, and then I just have to take a deep breath, relax. And that actually helps a lot.
Right, and it can help with your anxiety or if you're feeling anxious, right? So if you close your eyes and take a deep breath, your body will feel like you're calm. Even if maybe in your mind you don't feel calm, but your body will feel like you are calm. This is very helpful. Deep breathing can also lower your blood pressure, reversing some of the damage that stress causes. Good. So if you have bad blood pressure or high blood pressure, this can help to lower the blood pressure.
That's right. Well, this next section is called move. Now let's find out how moving can reduce stress. Any kind of exercise can relieve stress because it causes your brain to release chemicals that make you feel good. Well, that sounds like a positive thing.
Well, yeah, and there's so many different kinds of chemicals, right? So many different hormones. We've learned about serotonin and some other ones before. I think the special chemical that the lesson is talking about is endorphins. E-N-D-O-R-P-H-I-N-S, okay? They're hormones that reduce pain or they affect your emotions. So maybe your body will release endorphins.
Yep, that's a very good point. Well, moving on, stretching can help relax your muscles, and even something as simple as going for a 10-minute walk can help. And I've noticed that at times when I feel stressed or overwhelmed, I'll go outside and take a quick 5 or 10-minute walk, and that does help to relax me.
Yeah, I should probably do that more often. Anyway, let's continue here. Personally, I find walking in a park or other places with plants especially relaxing. There's a word here at the beginning of the sentence. Yes, you see it here. Personally. Now, when someone uses the word personally, you know they're going to share something that only applies to them. Maybe they're sharing their opinion. They can't speak for everybody, but everybody can speak for themselves, right? Personally.
For example, personally, I actually prefer eating dinner at home than going out for dinner.
Oh, that's funny because personally, I think it's more fun to go out for dinner. But you know what? That's okay. We both have different opinions, different ways of life. Friends, think about how to use this word in your own sentence. Use personally.
And we read here, personally, I find walking in a park or other places with plants especially relaxing. Being outside and around growing things makes me cheer up. Hey, it sounds like she's in the great outdoors.
I think so, and I like the great outdoors too. Yes, it often makes me think of maybe going on a hike, going to the top of a mountain and taking in a lot of beautiful scenery. There are lots of trees and plants and rocks, and it's just beautiful being in the great outdoors.
I agree. I would love to go to the great outdoors right now, but it's actually time for us to go to the SC Challenge. Hey everyone, welcome to the SC Challenge, and look who's here. It's Francis.
Hey everyone, I'm back again.
You're back.
For questions.
Yes. Hey Francis, do you ever feel stressed?
Yeah, I do feel stressed sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you typically do to reduce that stress?
Reduce my stress. I go to the beach.
You go to the beach.
Yeah.
Hey, I love
Find a
the
waterfall.
beach. Find a waterfall.
Yeah,
Do
hot-
something outside.
Yes, definitely.
Well, interesting because today's lesson is called How to Cut the Stress.
Okay.
So it's a really good lesson.
Like with a knife?
Yeah, you want to cut the stress with a knife? Like, cut.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, anyway, I have 3 questions today
Okay.
about today's lesson. And let's
Okay.
see how well you know today's lesson.
Okay.
Question number 1. What can deep breathing help to lower? A, blood pressure. B, cholesterol. C, heart pain. Or D, ear pain.
Number 2.
Number 2, or letter B, cholesterol. Is that your final answer?
Maybe.
Well, according to the lesson, that is not correct. The correct answer is A, blood pressure.
Okay.
Deep breathing can help to lower
I hope they get it right.
blood pressure.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm sure you got that right. Right, friends? Okay, question number 2.
Okay.
Which of the following are a healthy way to deal with stress? No peeking. A, eating lots of desserts. B, moving around. C, stretching. Or D, B and C?
Stretching.
C, stretching. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, that is correct, but the correct answer is actually B, and
What?
C.
I was correct.
You were correct. I'll give
okay.
you a half a point. We'll give him a half a point.
Okay. Yes.
So you get a half a point so far.
Okay.
Last question.
Okay.
What does your brain release when you exercise?
Okay.
A, sugar that makes you feel good. B, chemicals that make you feel bad. C, chemicals that make you feel good. Or D, sugars that your body needs.
No, definitely chemicals that make your body feel good.
Letter C.
Of course.
Is that your final
yeah,
answer?
it's like the best answer.
Hey, that is the
Yes!
correct answer.
Oh!
Good job. Francis, you got 1.5 points.
Oh, okay. That's
well
pretty good.
done. That's 50%.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, friends, I'm sure that you were able to answer these questions correctly. Thanks for joining us. And what do you do to reduce stress? Talk about that in English. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
So, Gabe, our lesson is all about how to cut stress. So, how do you deal with stress?
You know, Rebecca, I love playing drums. I mean, that's one way to blow off steam. It also helps to deal with stress sometimes.
You make a very good point. That is how I feel about playing the piano. It also helps me to relax a little bit.
Exactly. Do something that you enjoy. Friends, we do have more to learn about how to cut the stress next time right here on Studio Classroom.